it's worth getting to. It involves Golden State. Here we are in the second round of the NBA playoffs, but you can bet on anything at any time. So at the Superbook at the Westgate Las Vegas, they've already released their odds for next year's championship, okay, the 2020 championship. Despite the uncertainty surrounding KD, the Warriors open as the title favorites. They're 7-4. That shouldn't surprise anybody. Here's the sneaky big news. The team with the sixth best odds to win the NBA championship is the Knicks. The Knicks finished with the worst record in the NBA. They have the sixth best odds and the fourth best in the East. They're 16-1 behind only Milwaukee, Boston, and Philly in the East. What is that telling us? It is telling us that Vegas believes there is a very good chance the Knicks are getting that guy, Kevin Durant. All right, Mr. Boardroom. Segue. What can you tell us here? What do you think of those? That's sneaky big news, in my opinion. The definition of sneaky big news.
Well, it depends a lot if KD is going to partner up with Kyrie, if they decide to partner up, or if he decides to partner up with Kawhi. Or if he decides to go and Golden State. Let's look at the roster lineup that would be for the Knicks, though. You have essentially, let's say KD and Kyrie partner up to go to the Knicks, okay? You would have KD, Kyrie, you have Mitchell Robinson, who I think is a legitimate center, like what they're building from a franchise perspective. You have Alonzo Trier, you have, Frank Ntilikina, you have Kevin Knox. Is that enough to put you in a title conversation right away in the East? I don't know. If you think about KD and Kawhi partnering up with the Clippers, that could be a completely different scenario. If you look at some of the pieces that they have out there to win a championship, and then you look at Brooklyn has some pieces too. So it's going to come down to lineup and how can you get to the Eastern Conference Final and win a championship right away, or how do you get to the Western Conference Finals and have a chance to win right away?
What does he want to do? Does he want to create his own legacy in his own vision? Or does he want to partner up with someone? I mean, I think.
Well, you're going to need to partner up with somebody regardless now in today's new NBA age.
So if he partners up with Kyrie, because that's probably the combination to go to the Knicks, is that a combination that's good enough to compete for an NBA championship?
Well, if you surround them with the right pieces, they would have to make obviously more moves in order to do that.
You just mentioned Alonzo Trier, Kevin Knox, two really, really young players that are ifs still in terms of their career. You're talking about a situation, Mitchell Robinson, another if. You're going to put him with three ifs and say they're going to compete for an NBA champ? You're not. The best place for him to go is the Clippers.
Right. But this is really more about in a league now where we take a bunch of good players, put them together, and then the goal is then figure out what goes around them.
Exactly.
Is starting with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and the Knicks are going to get a top something pick. Worst case, it's 5. It could wind up being 1 in Zion. Who knows what winds up coming from there.
Zion, it changes the outlook on that situation.
But I guess the point is the whole league comes back if Kevin Durant leaves Golden State, too, right? One of the problems we've had is that everyone is just busy trying to figure out, well, can they compete with Golden State? And the answer is always no. Once he's not there anymore, all bets are off. Now everything looks a little bit better and closer.
I agree with you. And there hasn't really, other than Cleveland, because they had LeBron James here, like when's the last time New York City basketball has been relevant? I mean, Patrick Ewing days for the Knicks? It does change up the entire dynamic of the NBA.
Okay, just to give you a sense of how relevant all of this is, it seeped into pop culture over the weekend in only the most delightful of ways. Did you see Adam Sandler as Opera Man on Saturday Night Live? Feast your eyes on this.
Hey, dear man, he cry, Draymond Pokemon, he say, Kings, just wait till Durant comes to the Knicks, please. Please, Kevin, and bring Kyrie.
I love you, Adam. He's the best, and he was, parenthetically, he was sensational Saturday night on Saturday Night Live. But that's what it is. I mean, I think Woj is worried because he got scooped there. He got scooped by Opera Man. Opera Man is telling everybody. I mean, this has become such a part of the conversation. It had to come from somewhere, right? The Knicks are acting like it's happening. KD is acting like it's certainly not acting like it isn't happening. Everyone is acting like it's happening.
Well, I think KD's focusing on just trying to win a championship. I know that bothers people, but I think he'll make a decision in July.
Should be focused.
Here's something else to think about, though. So we've seen the way that KD has been somewhat in the media, okay? And I feel this, too, because we had a long conversation about this one time about, reporters asking him questions. So here's my question about New York Knicks fans. New York fans sometimes will yell the most vile, crazy things to you if they see you walking down the street. You can also be the most beloved player. So how does that affect a player's psyche? Like if you're not winning here in New York, can you handle the media attention that comes with losing some games in New York? That's a big time question. Now, a lot of people get excited about, oh, be a Knick, be a Knick. That's something you have to think about if you want to be here in this city. It's different here, Greeny. Would you not acknowledge that? It's different here.
Just ask Dave Gettleman how things are working out being a major sports figure.
Daniel Jones is getting hated on already.
Yes,
It's not his fault he got drafted here. You know what I mean? And people are despising him. He hasn't even thrown a ball here yet.
All right, let's figure out how this is all going to work. Because when it comes to NBA insiders, to me, it goes Opera Man 1 and then Woj 2. What do we got over there?
Yeah, I mean, Woj has actually just called up Opera Man and told him that he better stop scooping him, right? And what did Opera Man say?
Yeah, I'm just going to take July off. I'm going to the beach. I'm going to the beach for free agency. This is perfect.
Okay, we are talking a lot about Kevin Durant, and you mentioned the Clippers. There's so many different teams here. Obviously, people in New York would like to see him come to the Knicks, maybe Kyrie as well. What do you think happens with KD's future, though, specifically?
I don't think there's any question that the Knicks are going to be a strong consideration. I think a lot of this summer is going to depend on, and Jay mentioned it, players teaming up and who might want to join somebody where. Because you have 2 teams in New York and 2 teams in LA who have multiple max salary spots available. The Clippers can create 2. The Knicks and Nets can get to 2 very easily. So if you find players who want to partner and start doing the combinations of, whether it's Kawhi and KD, whether it's KD and Kyrie, you start going down the list. Klay Thompson and another player with the Clippers, hypothetically. But I do think that will, as much as anything, impact what players do. And remember, all the big players in this free agency, most of them have won championships. They're not ring hunting. They're deciding on where do I want to live, what market do I want to play in. So is that Kawhi going back to LA? Is that KD coming to a New York? They have championships. They can make their decision a little differently than some other players who were trying in recent years to get to a place to validate themselves with the title.
Yeah, and that's interesting considering especially the general unhappiness that we seem to have seen from NBA players this season. Maybe to your point, they're trying to find where they could be happiest. Who knows if that's in New York? We'll see what happens there. Let's transition back to the Lakers a little bit. And we mentioned it previously on the show, talking about the fact that the Lakers missed out on Monty Williams. He ends up going to the Suns. Now Ty Lue, of course, heavily in the mix. But what's gone on with their whole coaching search from your mind?
Well, Monty Williams and Ty Lue have been the 2 primary candidates in this search. And Monty Williams came to a point in recent days where he had to make a decision on LA or Phoenix. And especially when you look at that Phoenix job with Robert Sarver, he is the 5th coach in 5 years now there. He made a decision that he saw more upsides, and this is a crazy word to use with the Suns, but stability with the Suns than is there with the Lakers for a lot of different reasons. I don't think in the process leading right up until Monty Williams' decision that the Lakers thought for a moment that Williams would choose the Suns, but he did.
Wow. So when you think about that, truly, if you're talking about the perspective of what the league thinks about the Lakers right now, it really is a place that it seems like a lot of people don't want to go to overall.
Well, I think there's an issue with leadership in LA and who is running the organization, how strong and how together is the leadership group. When they went out to interview Monty Williams, when they met with Ty Lue, there were a lot of decision makers in those interviews, and you're sort of looking around the room going, how many people am I answering to? Who has the juice? Yeah. Is Rob Pelinka going to be here long term? Do I want to work with Rob Pelinka? Those are all questions candidates are asking themselves.
Okay, we'll keep asking those questions to you, Woj, but back over to Greeny for now.
Well, and kudos, Hembo, always chiming in with the number there. I mean, it's a remarkable statistic, if it's indeed a statistic or just a little note that the Lakers, it's been longer that they've won a playoff game than the Knicks have won a playoff game. That's how sad it is. And look, I mean, the Phoenix situation does seem like it, but you got Ayton, you got Booker, you're going to get a high draft pick. It might wind up being Zion. The Suns, who knows what they might turn out to be. But is Ty Lue the right coach for the Lakers right now?
He's the easiest choice to make the head coach of the Lakers. You've got, obviously, a relationship with LeBron. They've won a championship together. The biggest question for me is, and I'd be interested in Woj's feeling about this, is I think your head coach has to be able to recruit and help you recruit free agents. Now, it's been proven already that no one's talking about playing with LeBron. I'm talking about Kawhi. I'm talking about Kevin Durant. So who are they going to be able to recruit, and would the head coach have a hand in that recruitment? Now, Woj, what's your opinion on that?
I assume Woj can jump in here on that. Woj, did you hear it?
I think the head coach is so far down on the list of what top free agents want There's certainly money. Who am I going to play with? What's the market? And then who's the owner? Who's the general manager? The coach is always disposable. I think for role players, you see, they might decide more on a coach and a system where they can improve their market value and get back in free agency. But for the elite player, they are the system, and the coaches are going to adjust to them.
I think it's extremely well said. Seth, I'm sorry to say it, but the coach is completely irrelevant. So let me turn over here to you. Does Ty Lue make sense to be LeBron's coach at this moment in his career?
He's the one guy that has been able to navigate those uncharted territories, that uncharted weather with LeBron. And I think he understands what comes with LeBron James. So yes, I think he was the only feasible option. I think Monty Williams actually made the right decision by going out to Phoenix. I mean, there's not as much pressure to win right away that comes along with LeBron. Ty Lue's done that before, been there, done that.
Yeah, Phoenix has more young, good players and no expectations. All right, we'll take a break. Coming up, the Cowboys. Big name players they want to lock up. Is Zeke Elliott at the top of their priority list? The answer may be no. Adam Schefter has that. Plus, Kawhi. He was the hero yesterday, but the Raptors had ulterior motives calling plays for him. We'll show you what those were. Get Up on ESPN.